In this lesson, we're going to create the wrinkles for the pants. Alright, so let's go ahead and select the legs, and we're going to create some edge loops right along the knees there. And looking at the knees themselves, let's hit Alt-X. We didn't actually add enough segments for this to work properly, but that's fine. We can come in and we can go to Modeling, Edit, and Swift Loop, and we'll add a couple of segments. I'm going to add one here at the top, one in the middle, and one at the bottom should be okay. We'll add one more below here. Okay, so you should have 5 total segments going across that. I also want to make sure that I double click on those loops and kind of scale those in just a little bit. Okay, just kind of create that same curvature there. So now what I want to do is I want to add some wrinkles just to get started here. So looking at this, I could actually take this segment right here and I could pull that down right into this area. Okay, or I could just leave this one right where it's at and add another segment in between to create that wrinkle topology there. So let's actually just add a loop right here in the middle. With that loop selected, let's grab our scale tool and scale that in all 3 directions and just pull that straight out. And that's going to create that flare that we need there. Let's come in and let's add one segment right in here. And then I'm going to take my scale tool and I'll scale that in all 3 directions. Let's pull that out. And that should be pretty good. Let's double click on this one. Let me pull that one in just a little bit more. We don't have to add all of the wrinkles that we see in the reference image. It's just kind of a guideline. So as you can see here, we've got wrinkles going all the way through. But now what I want to do, let me hit Alt-X, turn that off. Now what I want to do is I want to shape these to where they don't necessarily look like a bendy straw. So in the front view, I'm going to take some of these vertices on one side. I'm going to pull those up. Let me pull these down. Okay, and let me pull this one down. So kind of like that. And then I'm going to take the ones along the back, and I'm actually going to push that in. Okay, so it's not quite as wrinkled along the back, but we still get a little bit of that curvature there. Okay, pull that in the X. Same thing here. Get something along these lines. Pull that up. There we go. And just start to kind of make that wrinkle in a couple of different ways. Okay. Pull that down. Let's do the same thing for the bottom. So along the bottom, I'm actually going to take this and pull it up and in. Same thing here. And then I'll take these, pull those down. And then along the back, we'll push those straight in the line, make that a little more shallow. Pull that in, as well as this one. So kind of pretty neat little shape going on here with our wrinkles. Let me actually pull this one up some. Okay, so now that we have those wrinkles set, let's turn off polygon mode. And those are some pretty basic wrinkles. Okay, you can add more in there if you like. You can add a whole nother loop and make that a little bit more apparent. But that's going to give us plenty of topology there. Definitely what we need. Here along the back, you'll see that the wrinkles have kind of depreciated a little bit. So that's perfect there. Now what we need to do, taking a look at our topology, we need to make sure that we add the loops going around the knee, so that way it can retain that detail. So I like to come in and just select those polygons, and let's make sure that we get all of them. Now they're kind of shaded in yellow because we have that turbo smooth turned on. Let's just hide that, and let's make sure that we have just these polygons selected. Okay, and actually let me select these on the outside too. So right across the front of the knee. So we have all of those selected. Let's use inset. And we'll inset that in. We could do 1 Might even go a little bit higher if we wanted to, but I think 1 is going to be our best value. Let's hit OK on that. And then let's go ahead and turn on our Turbo Smooth again. You'll see that it creates a nice little loop around the top of the kneecap and in that area. So whenever this knee bends, that is going to be able to retain volume. Okay, while all of this here on the back is going to be able to pinch inward and give us a nice little shape there. Now to kind of help that pinch, you can always take this geometry or these vertices and you can pull those down. And you can take these and pull those up just to make that pinch along that center line a little bit more. So that way it doesn't have that far of a distance to travel whenever it's ready to move. Okay, so that looks great. Looking at the inside of the leg there, I do want to pull this point in. It was just a little bit too far out for me. Alright, that looks great. Okay, so now we can also do the same thing around the bottom. Now before we get started on that, let's select the border across the bottom here and let's grab our scale tool, hold shift and scale that into X and Z. And that's going to create that topology that we need underneath there to be able to kind of hide that that's not connected. Also, I want to take all of those vertices, I want to pull those down to where they're kind of penetrating with the shoe a little bit. And then I'm going to scale those out. Okay, so it's going to create kind of a flat spot here. Now I'm free to add segments here across the bottom. So I'm going to go to Edit, Modify, Swift Loop. And we'll add some loops. Let's hit 2 to show edge mode. And let's add 4 loops for right now. And then I'm going to take those loops, double clicking on those, and just scale those out. Scale that one and that one out. And there we go. So now you can come in again, go to vertex mode, and around the leg, let me take these, let me scale that in. And we can take these and we can push these down. We'll pull these up. And actually, I'll pull that one down too. I'll pull that one up. This one down. Might even push some in a little bit. Okay, and that should create a nice little wrinkle there. Make sure you get the back side as well. Now the back side should be fairly similar as far as the wrinkles go. They shouldn't be pushed in or anything like that. Now I want to make these wrinkles a little bit tighter, so I'm going to grab the center line across the middle. So double click on that loop, and let's use chamfer. So hitting chamfer on that and then pulling that down is going to make that line a little bit tighter. Okay, so we get a little bit more of a tighter detail. We can also do that on any one of these edges that goes along the outside. So if you hit chamfer here and you kind of bump that up or pull it down a little bit, the closer you get, the tighter that detail is going to be. Okay, so something like that should be fine. Alright, so now we've got our wrinkles that we want for the pants. Let me actually use chamfer on this one too. Not quite as much, but we'll still use it. Alright, so now we've got the wrinkles that we want for the pants themselves, and I'm not really liking the bottom of that. Let me go to vertex mode. Let me take all of those and let me scale those in. And then I'll pull it down. Alright, that looks great. Okay, that's a little bit better. Alright, so now that we have the wrinkles in the pants, you kind of have an idea on how you can start to create some detail. You can come in and you can add more. You can readjust these however you see fit on that particular detail. But now we're going to be moving on to the next section. So we're going to work on the shirt next. So we're going to take the polygons. We're going to separate those out to where we have a shirt object that's all on its own. And we're going to show you how to create thickness. And then we're also going to learn how to optimize our model. So we'll go ahead and get started with that next.